my name is Luna, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about forensic anthropology. So, to start this video, we're going to think about a little scenario. So, in this scenario, you are walking in the middle of the woods, or maybe you're just walking around on a hill, you're taking a hike or a walk, or just walking around. Either way, by a small statistical chance, you wander upon a skeleton. No skin, no clothes, no wallet, no ID, nothing with real clues. So obviously you call it in, hey, there's a body. But you're left wondering, what do they do in this matter? Like, what happens from now? Because obviously there's no real clues there, but there is. So, personally, what I want to talk about is my interest. So I love forensic anthropology. I'm a triple major, with two of my majors being in biological anthropology and criminal justice, and I want to use these to become a forensic scientist. To explain to you what a forensic anthropologist does. So forensic anthropologists work specifically with bones. They don't do like flesh, they're not pathologists, they don't work on skin, they don't do entomology, bugs, they work on bones. So you may have seen shows like Bones or CSI, or if you're a little bit older or ever on cable TV, you might pass by a show called Forensic Files. They all use forensic anthropology as well as other forms. But obviously it's a little bit more dramatized, because otherwise, who's watching TV for something that's like not a little bit dramatized? I mean, these are more than a little, but So forensic anthropologists will go and, like they show in the shows, like they work on the bones. So they have like a bone, they'll see, okay, well, we have no flesh or any real recognizable features. So what can we find on these bones? Maybe you'll find a little like scratch. So if you have a bone and there's like a little thing, like a lesion in it, you can be like, oh, okay, where can we find this on maybe another person? Is this the cause of death? Was this pre or post-mortem? What was happening? How can we use this to figure out who this person is and what happened to them? So forensic anthropologists use bones to find a person's story. They're able to find people's sex, people's age, height, through very and not always accurate means. There are debates about race, but in general, there's a lot of find. Like, for example, your sex, they find it through your pelvic bones. You can't find your gender, obviously, but through your pelvic bones, people find sex, anthropologists. And through your long bones, so even if you don't have the full skeleton, which in this case we do, with that one bone, you are able to figure out a person's height, given that there might be some other diseases or issues, which you can also find through bones. You can also extract DNA. But anyway, that's what they're able to do. So what connects here? How does this used in like court or with the police? Well, forensic anthropologists work very closely with the police and with the court to find evidence and figure out who died, the way that they died, and how to prove this. What evidence can they find to prove if this was in a case of murder? How do you prove who caused the murder? What are you supposed to do? So forensic anthropologists will work, obviously, with them by themselves figuring this, but they work with the bigger span, all the other forms of forensic anthropology. So they'll work in the case of this body in the middle of the woods. They'll work with forensic entomologists to figure out maybe like the time of death with like bugs and stuff. But it depends. Maybe they're working with ballistics. Either way, they work closely with the police and with the judicial system and the judge to show and explain the evidence and like be a way to be like, hey, this is what happened. We have proof. Essentially, they find evidence. In a really cool way. The ways that they have everything set up in a really cool way. And it's very interesting to see the way that even with no information, which in this case, they have a skeleton, there's no real evidence about it that you can tell with your just naked eye, and they figure it out. They figure out who this person is and how they died. And that, to me, is really interesting. Now, obviously, I was explaining to you what in the world this was, and I hope you found it very interesting. But forensic anthropology is something we see all the time in TV. It's pretty interesting. And I hope that you guys all enjoyed my little rant about forensic anthropology, and I hope you learned something new. And yes, I hope you enjoyed.